There's a guy who parks his 2011 Honda Civic in the same spot every morning. Faded paint, a small dent in the rear bumper, nothing remarkable. His coworkers assume he's struggling, maybe living paycheck to paycheck, one emergency away from real trouble. What they don't know is that he's sitting on $4.2 million in index funds. His house is paid off. His kids' college funds are fully covered. He could retire tomorrow if he wanted to. He drives the Civic on purpose. According to research from the Millionaire Next Door, the median price millionaires actually pay for their cars is just $31,367. An Experian automotive study found that 61% of people earning over $250,000 drive Hondas, Toyotas, or Fords, not BMWs, not Mercedes. Regular cars that blend into any parking lot in America. Meanwhile, 8% of people earning under $100,000 own luxury vehicles, spending $60,000 on a car while making $50,000 a year. One group looks wealthy. The other group actually is wealthy. These are rarely the same people. This video isn't about being cheap. It's about understanding something most people never figure out. Looking poor might be the single most valuable financial strategy you ever adopt. What the research actually shows. The research here is overwhelming. The people who genuinely build wealth behave nothing like the people who appear wealthy. Thomas Stanley and William Danko spent decades studying millionaires across America, and their findings shattered every assumption about what wealthy people are supposed to look like. 80% of millionaires are first-generation affluent. They didn't inherit their money, they built it themselves. Half of them have lived in the same house for more than 20 years. They're more likely to drive a Ford than a Bentley. The authors found millionaires disproportionately clustered in middle-class and blue-collar neighborhoods, not affluent ones, a finding that surprised even the researchers, who expected the opposite. The explanation is simple. High-income, white-collar professionals tend to pour their money into luxury goods and status items. They're playing a visibility game. They want everyone to know they've made it. Actual wealth builders play an entirely different game. They understand that every dollar spent on appearances is a dollar that never gets 30 years to compound. They've run the numbers. Dave Ramsey's research on millionaire behavior confirms the pattern. The top car brand among millionaires is Toyota. Honda comes in second. Ford is third. BMW doesn't show up until number 6. Mercedes doesn't make the list at all. Jeff Bezos drove a Honda Accord for years. Mark Zuckerberg was spotted in an Acura TSX. Larry Page, co-founder of Google, drove a Toyota Prius. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. These aren't people who can't afford something nicer. They've simply decided that looking wealthy isn't worth the price of actually being wealthy. The psychology of status spending. The psychology behind this choice reveals something important about how wealth actually works. Sociologist Thorstein Veblen introduced the idea of conspicuous consumption over a century ago. His core observation: people don't just buy things for their usefulness, they buy signals. Luxury brands aren't really selling materials. They're selling a story. A $50,000 watch tells time exactly as well as a $51. The extra $49,950 buys something else entirely: the ability to broadcast status to other people. Research shows that people who see money as a symbol of power and success tend to report lower financial satisfaction. They buy expensive things to impress others and prove their worth, often without tracking or planning their overall spending. The irony is brutal. Chasing the appearance of wealth actively creates the conditions that prevent real wealth. Every leased BMW is a monthly payment that could have gone into investments instead. Every designer handbag is shares of an index fund that never got purchased. Every status symbol carries an opportunity cost measured in decades of lost compound growth. A 2025 Empower study found that 62% of everyday millionaires still budget, hunt for deals, and steer clear of extravagant living even after crossing the $1 million mark. They understand that the habits that built their wealth are the same habits that protect it. Visible wealth creates visible targets. Being visibly wealthy creates problems that invisibility avoids entirely. According to Javelin Research, identity thieves targeted 6.4% of the general public. But that number jumps to 8.1% for high net worth individuals with $1 million or more in assets. A joint study by Experian and the Department of Justice found that affluent Americans are 43% more likely to experience identity theft than the general population. The more visibly wealthy you appear, the bigger the target on your back. High net worth individuals face what security experts call whaling attacks. Unlike mass phishing scams, these are meticulously built operations using profiles pieced together from social media, data breaches, and open source research. Attackers pose as trusted advisors, private bankers, or family members to extract sensitive information or push through fraudulent transfers. Synthetic identity fraud is now the fastest-growing type of financial crime in the U.S. Criminals blend real and fabricated data to build credible-looking identities that can open accounts, funnel money, or corrupt an entire family's financial setup. The FTC reported Americans lost $10.3 billion to fraud in 2023, with investment fraud alone accounting for $4.6 billion of that, much of it from sophisticated schemes specifically aimed at affluent targets. Looking wealthy advertises exactly what you have. Looking ordinary protects it. The social cost of looking rich. The social dynamics around visible wealth build pressure over time. Drive a luxury car, and people assume you can afford expensive dinners. Wear designer clothes, and colleagues expect you to pick up the check. Live in an affluent neighborhood, and the baseline spending of everyone around you inflates your own expectations. Research on social comparison shows that status only exists relative to other people. In highly unequal environments, status signaling becomes more aggressive. The gap between tiers widens, and comparison intensifies. Behavioral studies show that higher-income individuals tend to socially distance themselves from lower-income groups. Different schools, different neighborhoods, different social circles. Over time, this creates class-based echo chambers. The person driving the old Honda keeps access to a much wider range of social connections. Nobody treats them differently based on perceived wealth. Nobody expects them to cover more than their share. Nobody resents them for having more. That social invisibility buys something money literally can't: authenticity in relationships. Research shows high net worth individuals frequently describe a strange paradox: more power paired with less trust. Relationships become harder to read. They can never be fully sure whether someone likes them or their money. The person who looks middle class while being quietly wealthy sidesteps this problem entirely. Their friendships are based on who they are, not what they have. Their relationships were never filtered through the lens of perceived wealth. Pause and UAWs. The authors of The Millionaire Next Door built a framework that separates wealth builders from wealth destroyers. PAWs are prodigious accumulators of wealth. UAWs are underaccumulators of wealth. These categories have nothing to do with income and everything to do with behavior. A janitor earning $50,000 a year can be more of a PAW than a doctor earning $700,000. Spending habits determine the category, not the paycheck. The formula is simple. Multiply your age by your pre-tax annual household income, then divide by 10. A 40-year-old earning $150,000 should have roughly $600,000 in net worth. Anyone below that line is an underaccumulator, spending their income rather than building wealth from it. UAWs live in luxury, style, and comfort. They're often highly educated professionals in demanding careers. They understand compound interest intellectually, they just don't practice it behaviorally. Their spending stems from what researchers call the better-than theory. Every purchase is an attempt to signal superiority. A nicer car than the neighbor's, a nicer watch than a colleague's, a better vacation than a sibling's. These are called million-dollar choices because had the purchase never been made, the person would likely have an extra $1 million. The cigarette example from the original research makes the math visceral. One couple smoked 3 packs a day for 46 years. The cumulative cost of those cigarettes exceeded the value of their home by $33,000. Had they invested that money instead, the portfolio would have topped $2 million. Status purchases work the same way. The gap between a $30,000 car and an $80,000 car, invested over 25 years at a 7% annual return, becomes roughly $270,000. That's the real price tag on looking wealthy. Where the programming comes from. The cultural conditioning behind visible spending starts early and never lets up. Stanley and Danko observed that people are trained from a young age to believe that those with money spend lavishly, and if you don't show it, you don't have it. That message comes from everywhere. TV glamorizes lifestyles, social media curates consumption, advertising promises that a purchase will transform your identity. The message is consistent. Rich people look rich. Want to be seen as successful? Show it through spending. This belief is demonstrably false, but its effects are very real. Someone who buys into this narrative will spend their entire income maintaining an image. They'll finance a lifestyle designed to signal wealth, while quietly wrecking their actual net worth. They'll hit 55 with a closet full of luxury goods and a retirement account that can't support them. The person who rejects that narrative builds wealth quietly. They invest while others consume. They compound while others display. They hit 55 with options the visible spender will never have. The quiet luxury shift. The quiet luxury trend is a partial correction to decades of conspicuous consumption. According to Bain & Company's 2024 luxury report, affluent consumers are increasingly prioritizing longevity and craftsmanship over flashy display. Stealth wealth has become a form of social currency in its own right. A 2024 Accenture survey found that 52% of global shoppers now prefer influencers who showcase practical luxury over aspirational excess. The cultural tide is shifting toward understatement. After the show Succession ended, searches for Loro Piana spiked worldwide. The appeal wasn't loud logos or obvious branding, but the opposite: wealth that only people who truly understand it can recognize. This reflects something deeper than a fashion trend, a growing recognition that visible wealth carries costs that invisible wealth simply avoids. The everyday advantages of looking ordinary. The practical benefits of looking poor show up in nearly every financial interaction. Negotiating gets easier when the other party has no idea what your actual position is. A car dealer treats someone in a Honda Civic very differently than someone pulling up in a Mercedes. A contractor quotes differently depending on the neighborhood they're driving into. Warren Buffett once said he never worried about being overcharged because nobody knew he was wealthy. His modest appearance gave him negotiating leverage that flashy spending would have wiped out. Service providers, salespeople, and contractors all calibrate their pricing based on your perceived ability to pay. Looking wealthy invites premium pricing. Looking middle class gets you the standard rate. Over a lifetime of purchases, that difference adds up to real money. The person who looks wealthy pays a hidden wealth tax on everything they buy. The person who looks ordinary just pays the regular price. At work, invisibility is leverage. The same dynamic plays out at work. Coworkers who assume you're struggling treat you as an ally. Bosses who assume you're hungry for the job assume you need it. Clients who see you as modest don't resent your rates. The moment visible wealth enters a professional relationship, everything shifts. Colleagues start wondering why you're even still working if you've already made it. Bosses start questioning your commitment. Clients start suspecting you're overcharging them. The quietly wealthy employee keeps up the appearance of needing the job while actually having the security of not needing it, an extraordinarily powerful position. They can take risks a desperate employee can't. They can negotiate from a position of strength while appearing to negotiate out of need. Family dynamics improve with invisible wealth. Family relationships tend to improve when wealth stays invisible. Research from the Millionaire Next Door found a negative correlation between how much money adult children receive from affluent parents and how much wealth those children build on their own. The more adult children receive, the less they tend to accumulate through their own effort. Giving money to adult children sends a subtle message that the parent doesn't believe they can make it on their own. The children lose the ability to distinguish between wealth they earned and wealth they were handed, which distorts how productive they think they actually are, and that skews their spending habits. Parents who look wealthy field constant requests for financial help. Their kids grow up expecting an inheritance instead of building their own foundation. Extended family develops resentment or expectation based on perceived gaps in wealth. Parents who look middle class while being quietly wealthy can offer support strategically, on their own terms, rather than under constant social pressure. Their kids develop self-reliance simply because they don't know a safety net exists. Family relationships stay uncomplicated by visible financial inequality. The psychological payoff. The psychological benefits of invisible wealth are hard to measure but impossible to ignore. Research on hedonic adaptation shows that a jump in wealth creates a temporary spike in happiness, but baseline mood always returns. The new BMW is thrilling for a few weeks, then becomes ordinary. The watch impresses for a few months, then fades into the background. Every visible purchase delivers a shrinking emotional payoff while permanently draining financial capital. Invisible wealth works the opposite way. A growing net worth provides a steady sense of security that doesn't fade with time. The person knows they could handle any emergency. They know they could walk away from any bad situation. They know their future is protected. That background security shapes everything. Decisions become less fear-driven, relationships become less transactional, sleep becomes less interrupted by money anxiety. The visibly wealthy person feels constant pressure to keep up the display. Every year demands new purchases just to prove they're still successful. The treadmill never stops. The invisibly wealthy person feels none of that pressure. They've simply opted out of the display game. Their identity was never tied to what they consume. The gap widens over time. The long-term compounding effect creates a gap that keeps growing. Someone earning $200,000 a year who saves 25% puts away $50,000 annually before investment returns. Over 25 years, at a 7% average return, that becomes roughly $3.4 million. Someone earning that same $200,000, but saving only 5%, spending the rest on visible consumption, puts away $10,000 a year. Over the same period, that grows to roughly $680,000. The first person looks middle class. The second person looks wealthy. The first person actually is wealthy. The second person is financially fragile. After 25 years, the invisible saver has 5 times the net worth of the visible spender. They have options the spender can't imagine. They have security the spender will never know. The spender has memories of nice things, a closet full of luxury items, stories about expensive trips. Both made choices. Only one of them made choices that compound. What success actually means. The millionaire next door lifestyle is really a fundamental reframe of what success means. Success isn't what you can buy, it's what you no longer have to buy. Success isn't the things you own, it's the freedom you bought with the money you didn't spend. That 2011 Honda Civic in the parking lot represents something its owner's coworkers will never understand. It represents a choice to value compound growth over social approval. It represents a decision to build security instead of displaying status. The people who glance at the old car and feel a little superior are often the same people who will be working until they're 70 because they have no other choice. The person driving it could walk away from work tomorrow. Looking poor is a strategic advantage that pays off across nearly every part of life. It shields your wealth from criminals who hunt for visible affluence. It protects your relationships from financial distortion. It preserves your negotiating position in every transaction you make. It keeps your kids motivated to build their own success instead of waiting on yours. It provides psychological security that doesn't fade the way material thrills do. It lets your money compound without any social pressure to spend it. The cost is small. Some people will assume you have less than you actually do. Some people will underestimate what you've built. Those aren't downsides, they're the whole point. The goal was never to impress strangers. The goal was always freedom. Every millionaire driving a Toyota already understood something most people never figure out. Wealth was never about what you show. It's about what you keep.